Yaifeng, I'm sorry. This is the last thing you'll do for me. Lin Wei's voice was soft, but the handcuffs on her hands were heavy. The cold metal seeped through her skin straight to the bone, especially piercing in the sweltering June heat of the discharge ceremony. The cheers of my comrades abruptly stopped, as if the entire playground had been muted. The brothers who had just been patting me on the shoulder, congratulating me on my honorable departure, now froze in place. I could even see the instructor's mouth wide open, his cigarette slipping from his fingertips. Lin Wei, what kind of joke is this? I tried to force a smile, but my facial muscles refused to obey. She was wearing her police uniform, looking valiant and heroic. The face I had kissed now showed no expression whatsoever. 3 months ago, she was still sweetly planning our future over the phone, getting married, buying a house, having 2 children. She said she was waiting for me to get the marriage certificate. Yaifeng, suspected of smuggling with conclusive evidence. Her voice was very official, as if reading a press release. Please cooperate with the investigation. Whispers began to spread around us. Impossible. Yaifeng is a model officer. Isn't Officer Lin his girlfriend? What's going on? I stared into her eyes, trying to find a trace of a joke or even a hint of guilt. But all I saw was calmness. A deep, unfathomable calmness, like a frozen lake. What evidence? My voice was hoarse. She leaned close, speaking in a whisper only I could hear. The suitcase under your bed contains 3 standard-issue weapons of unknown origin. This morning, an anonymous tip was called into the bureau. My mind went numb. That suitcase had been left with me when I was on leave. She said it was just some ordinary items a friend had temporarily stored, and she'd specifically warned me not to open it. You put it there. It wasn't a question. It was her doing. She took a step back, her voice returning to normal. Take him away. 2 officers stepped forward and grabbed my arms. My brothers tried to move in, but the instructor shouted them back. The last thing I saw was Lin Wei turning away, a faint, almost imperceptible curve at the corner of her mouth, and the new rank insignia on her shoulder flashing in the sunlight. The promotion announcement had ended just yesterday. As I was pushed into the police car, I heard her say to the reporters outside, "Everyone is equal before the law, even my former boyfriend." She emphasized the word former with particular clarity. The police car drove out of the military camp gate, and at the moment the door slowly closed, I saw the banner above the gate reading "Glorious Discharge" swaying in the wind. The interrogation room was lit with a pale, harsh light, leaving no place to hide. Yaifeng, confess and you'll get a lighter sentence. The stolen goods were found under your bed, and your fingerprints are on them. The interrogating officer tapped the table. Smuggling military firearms. Minimum 10 years. I want to see Lin Wei. Officer Lin is handling another case. The person who gave me that box was her. The officer taking notes looked up, half smiling. Yaifeng, Officer Lin is a model officer. Just cracked a major case and earned commendation. You're saying she framed you? I fell silent. Yes, who would believe it? A promising female officer framing her boyfriend who was about to be discharged. What motive? The motive is her career advancement, I said. The 2 officers exchanged glances and laughed. The older one shook his head. Young man, heartbreak is understandable, but slandering law enforcement officers is a more serious offense. They showed me photos of the scene. My bed, the black suitcase open underneath. 3 guns neatly arranged inside along with several magazines. The photos were professionally taken. Every angle captured. Who took these photos? I asked. The informant provided detailed leads including these photos. Who is the informant? Anonymous. I want to call a lawyer. You can. But the chain of evidence is complete. A lawyer won't change anything. The police officer put away the photos. We'll give you 1 night to think it over. Confessing voluntarily may lead to leniency. After they left, I leaned back in the cold chair. During my 5 years in the military, I was never afraid. I wasn't afraid when facing real guns and bullets during drug raids at the border. Nor was I afraid when confronting raging floods during disaster relief. But now, I was afraid. Not afraid of going to prison. but afraid that the woman I had deeply loved for 3 years had been playing a role from the very beginning. At 3:00 a.m., the door to the interrogation room opened. Lin Wei walked in and waved her hand, shutting down the surveillance. She held a document in her hand. "Sign it and you'll get it most 5 years." She pushed the paper toward me. It was a confession. She sat down, legs crossed, her posture elegant as if on a coffee shop date. "You're excellent, but excellence isn't enough. I need a case that will make a splash, a springboard to fame within the system. So, you chose me. Is that it?" Veteran smuggles weapons. Ex-girlfriend turns him in. She smiled slightly. "A nice headline, isn't it? The newspaper is already typeset. Front page tomorrow." I stared at her, trying to find the Lin Wei I knew in this familiar yet unfamiliar face. The Lin Wei who cried when I got injured during field training. The one who said she loved me most in my military uniform. The one who promised to take care of me for a lifetime at my mother's sickbed. Did you ever love me? It was a stupid question, but I asked it anyway. She froze for a moment, so brief it was almost an illusion. "I loved you," she said, then pulled a voice recorder from her pocket and pressed play. My voice came out from it. Edited. "The goods are here. The safe with me. No one will check. This is fake. Whether it's real or fake doesn't matter. What matters is that the jury will believe it." She turned off the recorder. "Fang. Just sign it. Holding out won't do you any good. I've looked into it. Your mother has kidney failure. You know how much dialysis costs each month. If you go to prison, who will take care of her?" My fingers tightened abruptly. She had even investigated my mother. "By the way, I've already paid 3 months of your mother's hospital bills." She softened her voice. "Sign it and I'll keep paying." "If you don't," she didn't finish. But the implication was clear. I looked at the confession letter. A 5-year sentence. "I could choose not to pursue your false accusation," I said. She laughed a genuine laugh, as if she had heard a joke. "You're still so naive. Do you think at this point I can still turn back? The commendation ceremony is the day after tomorrow, and the leader will personally present the award. This case must be ironclad." I picked up the pen, heavy in my hand. "Sign it and I'll take care of your mother. Don't sign and she'll know tomorrow that her son is a criminal and the medical expenses will be cut off." She leaned forward, lowering her voice. "Can you bear it?" The pen tip hovered over the paper. Trembling, I signed. Lin Wei put away the confession letter, carefully checked the signature, and nodded with satisfaction. As she stood up and walked to the door, she paused, her back turned to me. "Don't hate me. That's how society is. Either you step on others to climb up or others step on you. You'll regret this," I said. She turned her head and smiled brightly. "I never regret anything." The door closed. The interrogation room fell silent again. So quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Looking at the handcuffs on my wrists, I suddenly remembered the bracelet I gave her on her birthday 3 months ago. She said she would wear it forever, just as I always wore the military dog tag necklace she gave me. Now, looking back, that was probably part of the act, too. The prison intake process was like an assembly line. Photo taken, number assigned, 1379. Issued a prison uniform, medical checkup, and assigned to a cell, 1379. Your bunk. The guard pointed to the top bunk near the toilet, an 8-person cell filled with a mix of mildew and sweat. 7 inmates sat or lay around, their eyes scanning me like searchlights. The bald, early man on the bottom bunk stood out especially, his scar running from forehead to neck resembling a centipede under the dim light. "New guy, what did you get for?" the scar-faced man asked. "Smuggling firearms," I said. Someone whistled. "Were you in the military?" Scarface noticed my posture. "Just discharged yesterday." A few snickers echoed in the cell. Scarface stood up, half a head taller than me with broad shoulders. "Soldier boy, do you know the rules?" "No. Simple," he said, slapping my face with some force. "First, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. 2. Second, what I say goes. 3rd, before he could finish, I grabbed his wrist and twisted it against the joint. 5 years as a scout weren't for nothing. Scarface screamed and fell to his knees, while the others instantly stood up. "What's the third one?" I asked, tightening my grip. "Damn it, get him." All 5 of them lunged at me at once in the cramped cell. There was almost no room to dodge. I let go of Scarface, sidestepped the first punch, elbowed the second guy in the stomach, and drove my knee into the third one's chest. The movements were clean and sharp, honed through real combat, but 2 fists are no match for 8 hands, and I still took a few hits to the back in the chaos. Someone grabbed a plastic stool and swung it at me. I blocked it with my arm. A loud crack echoed as the stool shattered, and a sharp pain shot through my arm. "What's going on?" The guard's whistle blared, and the crackle of a baton grew louder as it approached. Everyone instantly stopped, crouching down with their hands on their heads. I did the same. The guard scanned the area, his gaze landing on my bleeding arm. 1379. "Come out." I was taken to the infirmary and given a basic bandage. The female doctor was in her 40s, expressionless, fractured. "You'll need a cast." "No need, just a splint will do," I said. She glanced up at me. "Showing off here won't help you." "It's not showing off." I paused. "A cast would be too noticeable." She understood. In prison, being too visibly injured makes you a target. She silently applied a splint and wrapped bandages, her movements swift and efficient. "Why did you get in here?" she suddenly asked. "Set up." She smiled faintly. "Half the people here say that. I'm telling the truth. Everyone says they're telling the truth." She tied the final knot. "But whether it's true or not, once you're in, you have only one identity: prisoner. Accept it early, and life will be easier." Back in the cell, the scar-faced men were punished with solitary confinement. The 2 younger inmates huddled in the corner, too afraid to look at me. I climbed onto the top bunk and lay down. The ceiling was low, within reach. My arm ached faintly, but nothing compared to the emptiness in my heart. The lights out whistle blew. The lights went out, and darkness swallowed everything. I lay awake recalling Lin Wei's last smile. She said she never regretted it, her tone so certain. I remembered our first meeting when she tripped and fell at the police academy training ground and I helped her up. She said, "Brother soldier, you're so handsome," her face turning as red as an apple. Was it acting? If so, she should win an Oscar. Footsteps echoed down the corridor. Patrolling guards' flashlight beams swept through the gaps in the iron bars, casting flickering patches of light on the walls. In the distance, faint cries could be heard, though I didn't know which cell they came from. I touched my chest. My necklace was still there. The prison guards had checked it when I was incarcerated but allowed me to keep it. Engraved on it were the initials of Lin Wei and me along with the date 2023-5/20. She said it was the beginning of us, something that would never end. Forever is truly short, short enough to last only 3 years. At 4:00 in the morning, Scarface and the others returned. Their footsteps were heavy, stopping right beneath my bunk. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep, breathing evenly. He stood there for a long time, then climbed the ladder, his face coming very close. I could smell the mix of tobacco and bad breath. "Kid," his voice was low, "this isn't over." I didn't move. "I know you're awake," he sneered. "Let me tell you, this prison has its rules. You broke the rules, so you'll have to pay the price." "What price?" "Tomorrow during yard time behind the toilet," he said, then climbed down. "Price?" I chewed on the word. Lin Wei made me pay a price of 5 years of freedom and all my trust. What was the price here? Of beating a life or something else? It didn't matter anymore. I turned over facing the wall. The wall was cold and damp. Started to rain outside, the drops tapping against the iron bars of the high window, like someone gently knocking at the door. Break time, and the playground was like a pot of boiling porridge. Hundreds of prisoners were scattered around, smoking, chatting, or simply basking in the sun. A few obvious leaders occupied the basketball court, and the others instinctively stayed away. Scarface was one of them, surrounded by 6 or 7 men, occasionally glancing in my direction. I sat on a bench, moving my injured arm. The splint was hidden under my prison uniform. Not obvious, but my movements were still restricted. 1379 visitor. The guard called from the doorway. The visitation room was separated by thick glass with communication through telephones. On the other side of the glass sat my mother, whom I hadn't seen in 3 months. She had grown so thin she was almost unrecognizable, her complexion sallow. When she saw me, her lips trembled, and tears streamed down her face. I picked up the phone. "Mom, Xiao Feng," they said she couldn't finish, covering her mouth as she cried. "Mom, I'm fine. It's a misunderstanding. It'll be cleared up soon," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Lin Wei came to see me. She paid the medical bills and said she's trying to find a way. My mother wiped her tears. She said, "You just made a mistake in the moment." My grip on the phone tightened, my knuckles turning white. "Mom, listen. Stay away from Lin Wei. I'll figure out a way to cover the medical expenses. Don't take any more money from her. But listen to me." I raised my voice, and my mother froze. I took a deep breath. "Mom, trust me this once. Lin Wei, she's not what you think." My mother looked at me, her clouded eyes filled with confusion and pain. She was an ordinary elementary school teacher who had spent her whole life educating others, believing in truth, kindness, and beauty after my father passed away early. She raised me all by herself. On the day I enlisted in the army, she cried her heart out saying, "Son, you must always be an upright person. Mom believes you," she finally said, her voice barely a whisper. "But you have to promise me. Be good. Be really good. Promise." Visiting time was up and the prison guard urged us to leave. My mother stood up, turning back again and again at the door. She suddenly turned around, pressing her palm against the glass. I pressed mine against it, too, but the warmth couldn't cross the barrier. Back on the playground, there were 10 minutes left of fresh air time. Scarface nodded toward the toilet and walked off first. I followed and his men scattered around, appearing casual but effectively blocking all directions. Behind the toilet was a blind spot in the surveillance, piled with discarded construction materials. Scarface lit a cigarette and offered me one. I shook my head. "You're quite skilled. Were you a Special Forces soldier?" he asked. "Scout. About the same." He exhaled a smoke ring. "Want to get out of here sooner?" I look at him without speaking. "Do me a favor. There's someone outside who can help reduce your sentence. Maybe even overturn your case." Scarface lowered his voice. "There's an old guy in the Southern District surnamed Chan in his 60s. A white-collar criminal. I need a letter he wrote in prison." "What letter?" "You stay out of this. Get the letter, and I guarantee you'll be out of prison within 3 months. Why don't you go get it yourself?" The scar-faced man looked grim. "The old man won't see me. His men are keeping a close watch. But you're different. A new face. He won't be on guard against you. What if I refuse?" "Refuse?" Scarface grinned, revealing yellow teeth. "Your mother is in bed 17 of the nephrology department at City People's Hospital, right? She undergoes dialysis every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On her way home from the hospital, she has to pass through a narrow alley." I grabbed his collar abruptly, and his men instantly closed in around us. "If you dare lay a finger on her, I'll make sure you never leave this prison," I said, enunciating each word slowly. The scar-faced man stopped smiling, a fierce glint flashing in his eyes, but he quickly replaced it with a grin, patting my hand. "Just a joke, but 1,379 here. It's better to have more friends than enemies, especially for someone like you carrying an unjust case. You need friends, don't you?" I let go. He was right. I need allies. At least I need confidence. "What does the letter say?" "Some lists involving big shots on the outside. The old man was someone's white glove back in the day, and even after going inside, he still holds leverage." Scarface crushed the cigarette but under his foot. "You get the letters out. Copies will do. Leave the originals with him. No one will ever know. Better for everyone." "How do I approach him?" "The old man loves playing chess, always setting up chess puzzles alone during breaks. How's your chess skill?" "A little bit. Enough. Tomorrow during the break. I'll arrange it." Scarface patted my shoulder. "Remember, you're not helping me. You're helping yourself." He left, leaving me standing in the shadow of the toilet. The sunlight was intense. But it couldn't reach this corner. Up on the guard tower, a prison officer paced back and forth with a rifle on his back. His shadow cast long on the ground. Back in the cell, I found an unopened box of anti-inflammatory medicine on my bed, along with a note: take 2 tablets 3 times a day. Infected. Infirmary. The handwriting was delicate, likely from that female doctor. I put the medicine away without taking it. In prison, accepting kindness too easily could be fatal. But by nightfall, my arm was badly swollen, feverish, and the pain kept me awake staring at the ceiling. I thought of Scarface's words, my mother's face, and Lin Wei's flawless smile in the interrogation room. At 2:00 in the morning, I quietly got out of bed, tore open the medicine box with my teeth, and swallowed 2 pills dry. The bitterness spread in my mouth, lingering all the way to my heart. Chan Lao sat under the shade of a tree in the corner of the playground with a chess set in front of him. The pieces were homemade, carved from crushed stones, yet finely crafted. He didn't look like a prisoner, more like a retired professor, his white hair neatly combed, his prison uniform clean and pressed. "Do you know how to play chess?" he asked without lifting his head. "I know a little. Sit." He pointed to the opposite side. I sat down. He took the red pieces, and I took the black. The opening was quite conventional. Central cannon against screen horse. After about a dozen moves, old Chan suddenly spoke up. "Scar sent you." My hand, holding the chess piece, froze midair. "Don't be nervous in this chess game. Which move isn't arranged by others? He moved a knight, but your style is upright. Unlike one of them. I'm new here." 1379. Yi Fong, former scout, sentenced to 5 years, actually framed by his ex-girlfriend. "Lin Wei," old Chan said calmly, taking one of my pawns. I stared at him. "There are no secrets in prison." He smiled, his wrinkles smoothing out. "Especially not for a case like yours. Everyone's already heard about it. What's curious is, how did a recently discharged soldier get involved with the police force's rising star? Personal grudge. Personal grudges that escalate to public power are the most dangerous." Chun Lao moved a piece. "General." I responded with a countermove. The game had entered the middle stage. His attack fierce, my defense struggling. "You want that letter?" Chun Lao suddenly said. Not as a question. "Someone wants it. The letter contains a list of 7 people and the passwords to their overseas accounts." Chun Lao's voice dropped low. So low only the 2 of us could hear. "One of them is now at deputy level. Another is the direct superior of a woman." My fingers trembled and the chess piece nearly slipped from my hand. "Lin Wei's promotion was actually orchestrated by him. He also approved your case." Old Chin looked at me. "Now, do you still want to deliver the letter to Scar? Scar is his man. Scar is a dog he keeps in prison, used to deal with people who don't obey." Old Chun made a decisive move. "You're defeated." I looked at the board. There was truly no way out. "I'll give you 2 choices." Old Chun began gathering the pieces. "First, give the letter to Scar in exchange for a reduced sentence. But, after you get out, you'll become their scapegoat. Your next charge might be murder. And the second option, work with me and deliver the letter's contents to the right person." Old Chin's gaze was sharp. "But, this path is dangerous. Could get you killed." "I choose the second one," I said without hesitation. Old Chin smiled. This time, a genuine smile. "Aren't you afraid of death?" "I've already died once," I said, referring to my heart. "Dying again won't matter." "Good." He nodded. "Tomorrow at this time, I'll accidentally drop the letter under the bench. You'll pick it up and give it to Scar. But he'll get a fake one. The real one stays with me. After you're released, I need you to deliver the real letter to someone." "Who?" "My daughter, Chan Yu. The address is in the letter." Alkin lowered his voice. "But remember, before you're released, you must earn Scar's trust and the trust of the people behind him. So, after you get the fake letter, you need to make a contribution. Act greedy. Make them believe you're one of them." "How?" "Denounce me," Old Chan said calmly. "Say I discovered the letter was missing and am recopying the list. They'll come to search and I'll have a real letter prepared in advance, hidden with a fake list that way. They'll think they've got what they want and you'll gain maximum trust. This will put you in danger. I'm 67. Terminal lung cancer. The doctors say I have at most 6 months left. Alkin coughed lightly. Doing something right before I die. It's worth it. I fell silent. He patted my shoulder. Kid, this world has darkness, but it also has light. Lin Wei chose darkness. You can choose light, even if that light is faint. It's worth chasing. The whistle signaling the end of recreation sounded. Old Chan stood up, took 2 steps, then turned back. By the way, I looked into your case. The serial numbers on those 3 guns belong to a batch of stolen weapons seized by the City Bureau 3 years ago. The officer who handled it back then was Lin Wei. The original records were altered, but the Provincial Bureau's backup files should still have the records. How do you know all this? Because before I went in, I was a prosecutor at the Provincial Procuratorate. He smiled. I'm not now, but some connections remain. He walked away, slightly hunched, but with firm steps. I sat on the bench, sunlight filtering through the leaves, dappled and swaying. In the distance, Scar gave me a nod. I nodded back and stood up, walking toward him. The wind swept across the playground, stirring up dust and sand. The barbed wire on the high walls glinted coldly in the sunlight like a massive cage. But birds must always fly out even if their wings are broken. The plan was going smoothly, so smoothly it felt unsettling. I found the letter and handed it to Scarface, who treated it like a treasure. That same night, I was arranged to meet alone with someone from above. A middle-aged man in a suit in the lawyer's meeting room posing as my new lawyer. Yifeng. I'm Lawyer Zhao. He handed over his business card. A very ordinary name, a very ordinary firm. But I knew he was anything but ordinary. The watch on his wrist was worth millions. The tailoring of his suit was from a master. And most importantly, there was something in his eyes. The composure that only those who hold power possess. Any movement from Old Chin? He asked, his voice gentle. He discovered the letter was missing and is rewriting it, hiding it in the secret compartment under his bed. I said exactly as Old Chin had taught me. Lawyer Zhao nodded, quite satisfied. Xiao Feng, you've done very well. I've already spoken with Officer Lin. Your performance will be recorded in the file and we'll work to get your sentence reduced. Thank you, Lawyer Zhao. However, he changed the subject. Did Old Chin say anything else about the list? About anything else? He said the list has 7 people including leaders from the Provincial Department and the City Bureau. I replied truthfully as this was something they already knew. Specific names. He didn't say, only that we'd know once we got the letter. Lawyer Zhao stared at me as if judging whether I was telling the truth. A few seconds later, he smiled, took an envelope from his briefcase, and pushed it toward me. This is 20.000 in cash. A reward for you. It'll come in handy in prison. I didn't take it. I just want to get out early to take care of my mom. Don't worry. It'll be soon, he said, putting the envelope away and standing up. Keep an eye on Old Chin. If anything happens, tell Scarface. After he left, I sat in the visitation room for a long time. The clock on the wall ticked away, each sound like a countdown. The next day, Scarface led a team to suddenly inspect Old Chen's cell. They found a waterproof bag hidden between the bedboards containing several pages of handwritten letters. The content was similar to the previous letter, but with more details. Scarface was thrilled and rewarded me with a pack of cigarettes on the spot. But Old Chen was taken away, accused of concealing contraband, and locked in solitary confinement. 3 days later, during the yard time, I saw Old Chen come out, his face pale and his steps unsteady. As he passed by me, he accidentally bumped into me, slipping a paper ball into my palm. That night, I opened the paper ball in the toilet stall. It was a microfilm wrapped around a note. Rain, 12 Amping Lane. The night of your release at 10.00. Watch out for Scarface. He doesn't trust you. I flushed the note down the toilet and hid the film inside my plaster cast. A week later, I received a sentence reduction for meritorious conduct, cutting my sentence from 5 years to 3. The prison guard said it was due to the active efforts of my ex-girlfriend, Officer Lin Wei. When I heard the news, I was smoking with Scarface on the playground. He patted me on the shoulder. See, kept my word. Keep performing well. And you might be out in 2 years. Thanks, Scar. Don't thank me. Thank Officer Lin, he said, exhaling a smoke ring. She pulled a lot of strings for you, you know. With a woman like that, why did you ever get mixed up in this mess? I didn't answer, just smiled, my face stiff with a grin that night. Eye of Lin Wei. I dreamed of our first date by the river. She wearing a white dress, her long hair blowing in the wind. She said, Yifeng, when I get my permanent position, we'll get married. In the dream, her smile was so real that when I woke up, my pillow was soaked. The day my arm cast was removed, the female doctor handled it gently. Recovery is going well, but you might feel pain on rainy days. Thank you, doctor. The medicine these past few days. It's nothing. She interrupted, pausing. Old Chin asked me to tell you, keep the things safe. As long as you're alive, the things will be there. I froze. I'm his niece. She quickly wrote down the instructions for removing stitches. Her voice lowered. Back then, when he was framed and imprisoned, I entered the prison system just to take care of him. Yifeng, I've been observing you for 3 months. You're as good as your mother. How do you know my mother? She's a patient of mine at the city hospital, undergoing dialysis. She looked up, her gaze gentle. Don't worry. I've arranged her medical records and consulted the best specialists. You don't need to worry about the costs. Old Chen has already taken care of it. My throat tightened and I couldn't speak. Don't get sentimental. This is a deal. She resumed her professional expression. You help Old Chen deliver a message, and we'll take care of your mother. A fair exchange. Fair. That word was so rare in prison. Lin Wei recently made another breakthrough. The female doctor suddenly said. She cracked a drug trafficking ring, earned second-class merit, and might be promoted soon. That has nothing to do with me. It does, she said seriously. The leader of that gang is Scarface's younger brother. The timing was very coincidental. Just 1 week after you sent Scarface the fake letter. A chill ran down my spine. Old Chun wants you to be careful. Scarface isn't a fool. He might have already noticed something off about the letter and is just waiting for a chance to verify it. The female doctor handed me a tube of ointment. Apply this daily. Can help reduce the scarring. Also, your release date might be moved up. Be prepared. Moved up to when? I don't know, but Old Chin said it would be soon. She stood up. Let's go. The next patient is coming. As I reached the door, I turned back. Doctor, what's your name? Su Qing, she said. Qing as in clear and bright. I nodded and walked out of the infirmary. The corridor was long, the lighting dim, but at the far end, there was a window. Outside was a small patch of sky, a piercing blue. Su Qing. Qing as in clear and bright. What a lovely name, like opening a window in the darkness. The release date was moved up by 6 months. When the prison guard informed me, I was operating a sewing machine in the workshop. After 2 years and 7 months, I had almost become a skilled worker, able to finish seams with my eyes closed. 1379. Pack your things. You're being released tomorrow. There was a stir in the workshop. Scarface, sitting not far away, stared at me with a complicated expression. During the afternoon break, he called, "Meet me at our usual spot. Early release. Congratulations," he said, offering a cigarette. This time, I took it. Thank you. Scar brother, what are your plans after you get out? First, I'll see my mom, then look for a job. A job? He laughed. I got a job for you. High pay, not tiring. What kind of job? Help me deliver something. He leaned in. I have a friend outside. 3 days after you get out. At 8:00 p.m. Go to the old dock in the west of the city. Warehouse number 3. Someone will meet you. Just hand over the item. What is it? You'll know when the time comes. He patted my shoulder. If you pull it off, it'll be this much. He held up 5 fingers, meaning 50.000. I'll think about it. You don't have a choice. Scarface dropped his smile. Yifeng, I know you're connected to Old Chin. I had that letter checked. Some details don't match. Tell me, did Old Chin lie to me or did you? The air froze. The distant noise of basketball games suddenly seemed far away. Scar, brother. I don't understand what you mean. Don't understand. He grabbed my collar. Then I'll make it clear. The day you get out of prison, I'll send someone to pick up your mother. If you cooperate, she'll be safe. If you don't. He didn't finish, but the meaning was clear. I stared at him, my hand clenching into a fist by my side, then loosening. All right, I'll go. That's more like it. He released me, his smile returning. Don't worry. The simple, cash on delivery. Once it's done, we're even. You go live your quiet life, and I'll make my fortune. That night, I couldn't sleep lying on the bunk, listening to the snores around me. I thought about many things. My mother, Lin Wei, Olchen, and that roll of microfilm. At 4:00 in the morning, I quietly got out of bed and made my way to the restroom. In the farthest stall, behind the squat toilet, there was a loose brick, an emergency contact point Su Qing had told me about. I slipped in a note. Scarface wants me to deliver goods after I'm released. Suspect it's a test or a setup. Old Pier Warehouse 3, 8:00 p.m. The day after tomorrow. If anything happens to me, please take care of my mother. The microfilm is hidden in the left shoe heel. After tucking the note away and pushing the brick back into place, I returned to my bed. Dawn was approaching, and the sound of guards changing shifts echoed in the corridor. The next day, the release process was straightforward. Returning the prison uniform, reclaiming personal belongings, and signing documents. The necklace was still there, cold against my chest as I stepped out of the prison gates. The sunlight stung my eyes. The wind of freedom brushed against my face, carrying the scent of grass and dust. Scarface didn't come to see me off, but two of his men were waiting outside in a black sedan. Brother Scar asked us to give you a ride, said the bald man driving. No need. I'll walk. Don't be polite. Get in the car. The skinny man in the passenger seat opened the car door, his hand resting on his waist where something bulged. I got into the car. The vehicle left the prison and got onto the national highway. After driving for half an hour, it wasn't heading toward the city. Where are we going? I asked. Scarface says we should first welcome you properly, the bald man said, glancing at me through the rearview mirror, his eyes flickering. I quietly unbuckled my seatbelt, my right hand reaching for the door handle. Ahead was a sharp turn and the car was moving fast. By the way, your mother was discharged from the hospital today, the skinny man suddenly said. Scarface sent someone to pick her up. They should have arrived by now. Before he could finish, I yanked the door open and tumbled out of the car. The asphalt road scraped against my body, burning with pain. The car screeched to a halt, tires squealing. I scrambled to my feet and ran, diving into the woods by the roadside. Shouts, footsteps, and a gunshot echoed behind me. The bullet struck a tree, sending wood chips flying. I ran desperately, branches whipping my face. My lungs felt like they were about to burst, but I didn't dare stop. After running a few hundred meters, I saw a river and leaped in. The water was cold, the current strong, sweeping me downstream. The gunshots and shouts gradually faded into the distance. By the time I crawled ashore downstream, it was already dark, soaked to the bone, my wounds oozing blood, but I was alive. I oriented myself and headed toward the city. I couldn't go to a hospital, couldn't go home. Scar's men were surely lying in wait. Ping and Lee. Number 12. Chunyu. It's now 9:40 p.m. 20 minutes before the agreed time, I duck into a public restroom, wring out my clothes, and tend to my wounds. The man in the mirror is gaunt, unshaven, with sunken eyes, like a ghost. At exactly 10:00, I stand before the door of Ping and Lane, number 12. It's an old-style apartment building, the door plate worn and faded. I knock, 3 long, 2 short, and repeat it twice. The door cracks open. A sliver, and a pair of eyes peers out warily. Chunyu, who are you? Your father sent me. The door swings open. The girl is in her early 20s, with short hair and features that resemble old Chen's. She lets me in and quickly locks the door behind me. The apartment is small but tidy. its walls lined with law books. Where is it? She asked directly. I took off my left shoe, pried open the heel, and retrieved the microfilm. She took it, went into the darkroom, and emerged 10 minutes later, her face pale, the people on the list. Her voice trembled. Your father said to give it to you. I know who to give it to. She took a deep breath and calmed down. You're injured. Let me help you. No need. I have to go. Scar's men are looking for me. I'll only drag you into this. You can't get out. Chunyu pointed out the window. 2 black cars were parked downstairs, engines still running. They arrived half an hour ago. 4 men staying in the cars the whole time. My heart tightened. Scar acted really fast. Is there a back door? Yes, but someone might be guarding it. Chunyu thought for a moment. Wait for me. She went into the bedroom and came out wearing different clothes. A wig and glasses, carrying a large bag. What are you doing? I'll disguise myself as you and leave through the front door to distract them. You go through the back door. There's a subway station at the end of the alley. The last train leaves at 10:30. She shoved a subway card and a key into my hand. Go to this place. It's a vacant house belonging to a friend. It's completely safe. No, it's too dangerous. They don't know me. They won't do anything. Chunyu didn't let me argue. My father's letter said that no matter what, you and the evidence must be kept safe. This is the only thing I can do for him. Her eyes were red, but she didn't cry. Your father. I know. She cut me off smiling. A smile exactly like Chin Lao's. He made his choice. I respect it. Now it's my turn. She slung the bag over her shoulder, took a deep breath, pushed open the door, and hurried downstairs with her head down. I watched through the gap in the curtains as the car doors opened and 4 men got out, chasing after Chunyu in the direction she had gone. When they disappeared around the corner, I slipped out the back door. The alley was dark and piled with garbage. I ran as fast as I could, reaching the subway station just as the last train was pulling in. I jumped on and the doors closed behind me. The carriage was empty, just me and a drunk man. Outside the window, the city lights rushed backward like a flowing river of stars. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered. It was Su Qing. Ifeng, your mother is safe at my place. Chunyu has also escaped, but she must deliver the evidence herself. The other party insists she go alone. Su Qing spoke quickly. Where are you going now? The address Qing you gave me. Okay, stay there. Don't go out. Scar's men are searching for you all over the city. Lin Wei has issued a wanted notice for you. Charges of prison escape and assaulting police officers. Assaulting police. This afternoon, the prison reported your escape and that you injured 2 guards. There are witnesses and surveillance footage. Solid evidence. Su Qing paused. Lin Wei is now the head of the task force, personally overseeing your case. I laughed, laughing out loud. At the other end of the carriage, the drunk man stared at me in fear. Ifeng, I'm fine. I stopped laughing. Dr. Su, thank you. Don't mention it. Remember, don't trust anyone. Even she suddenly stopped. There was static on the line. Then the call disconnected. I stared at my phone as the screen went dark. The subway sped through the tunnel, the roar deafening. Chan Yu's friend's apartment was in the old district. 1 bedroom, 1 living room, covered in a thick layer of dust. I checked every corner to make sure it was safe, then collapsed onto the floor. Tears that seemed to seep from my very bones. At 3:00 in the morning, my phone rang again. This time, it was Lin Wei's number. I stared at the flashing name on the screen, the number I had set a special ringtone for 3 years ago. On the 7th ring, I answered. Ifeng. Her voice came through the electric current, somewhat distorted. I know you're listening. I didn't speak. Turn yourself in. You're a fugitive now, and if you're caught, the punishment will be even heavier, she said, her tone more official than personal. But if you surrender, I can try to get you a lighter sentence. Lighter like last time. 5 years reduced to 3. I finally spoke, my voice hoarse. There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. You already know, she said, not as a question. Know what? That you traded my future for your police rank. That you threatened me with my mother's medical expenses. Or that you still want to arrest me now to shut me up for good? Ifong. For the first time, a hint of panic appeared in her voice. It's not what you think. I had no choice. No choice. I laughed. Lin Wei, your biggest choice is your ambition to climb higher. You can sacrifice everything, including me, our 3 years together, and even your conscience as a police officer. I had no other option. She suddenly raised her voice. Do you know how hard it was for me to get where I am today? A woman with no background in the system. You either get assimilated or crushed. I just chose to survive. So you stepped on me to live. Yes, she admitted, her voice trembling. But I regret it. Ifong, I truly regret it. Since you went in, I haven't had a single good night's sleep. Every time I achieved something, every time I received an award, I kept thinking, this was bought with your freedom. So what? Now your conscience is bothering you. You want to help clear my name. I can help you, she said urgently. As long as you turn yourself in and hand over old Chen's things, I can arrange for you to be credited for your cooperation. At most a year, no half a year, and you'll be out. Promise. And then I come out. Continue to be your tainted witness, always at risk of being silenced by you. I won't. Lin Wei, I interrupted her. Do you remember what you said the day I left the military? This is the last time I'll contribute for you. You were right. It really was the last time. From now on, I'm no longer a pawn on your chessboard. There was only heavy breathing on the other end of the phone. Ifong, don't force my hand. Her voice turned cold. The entire city is hunting for you now. There's no escape. Hand over the item and I'll ensure your safety. Refuse and you'll die in the pursuit with shot while resisting arrest written in the records. Are you threatening me? I'm giving you one last chance. Then let me die, I said. At least I'll die like a man. I hung up the phone, turned it off, took out the SIM card, snapped it in half, and threw it out the window. A cat's cry echoed from downstairs, piercingly mournful in the silent night. Dawn was approaching with the faint glow of daybreak in the east. A new day, a new pursuit, but I no longer cared. 3 days later, I saw the news on the TV screen at the subway station. Vice Director Liu is suspected of serious violations of discipline and law and is currently undergoing disciplinary review and supervisory investigation. Several police officers, including Deputy Director Wang and Police Inspector Lin Wei, have been taken into compulsory measures on suspicion of abuse of power and perverting justice. In the footage, Lin Wei is being taken away, head down, long hair covering her face, but that profile, I could recognize at a glance. A scrolling caption at the bottom of the screen reads, "It is reported that this case is related to a case 3 years ago in which a veteran was falsely accused of smuggling firearms. The case is under further investigation." I pulled down my hat brim and stepped into the subway. Inside the carriage, people were crouched scrolling through their phones, occasionally looking up at the news, muttering a few words about a police shakeup, then returning to their tiny screens. The world is vast, yet also small, vast enough to hide a person, yet small enough that a single piece of news can upend a life. Following the address Su Chin gave me, I arrived at a nursing home on the outskirts of the city. My mother was basking in the sun in the yard with Su Qing by her side. When she saw me, she froze, then trembled as she stood up. Xiaofeng, Mom. I embraced her gently, afraid of hurting her. Dr. Su already told me. The mother wiped her tears. You've suffered. It's all in the past, I said, looking at Su Qing. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. It was Chan Yu's credit. She risked her life to deliver the evidence to the Provincial Discipline Inspection Commission, which led to the subsequent actions. Su Qing smiled. Chan Lao passed away last night, peacefully. I fall silent. Old Chan had said he had at most half a year left, but I never expected it to be this soon. He asked me to tell you before he left. Live well. Live like a real person, Su Qing said. Her eyes reddened, but she held back her tears. What about Chan Yu? She's cooperating with the investigation and will go abroad for studies afterward. Her father left her some money. It's enough for her needs. Su Qing glanced at her watch. I have to get back to the hospital. I have surgery this afternoon. You two should talk properly. After she left, My mother and I took a walk in the yard. The sun was bright and the osmanthus blossoms were in full bloom, their fragrance rich and sweet. Lin Wei, the mother started to say, then stopped. She will receive the trial she deserves. I said, the law will be fair. Mother nodded, gripping my hand tightly. Xiaofeng, what are your plans for the future? I haven't decided yet, but I want to leave here and start over somewhere else. All right, Mom, we'll go with you. Your health. Dr. Su said they found a suitable kidney donor. The surgery is scheduled for next week. Mother smiled. It was arranged by Mr. Chan before he passed away. He was a good man. A good man. After all that had happened, those words felt so heavy, yet so precious. A month later, my case was retried and I was acquitted in court. As I walked out of the courthouse, reporters swarmed around, but I said nothing. Su Qing picked me up by car and drove straight to the airport. The flight tickets are booked to a small city in the south with good air quality, suitable for recuperation, she said. Your mother's surgery was successful. After a little more rest, she'll be able to reunite with you. Dear Su, I owe you so much. Then live well and don't let down those who helped you. She stopped the car and handed me an envelope. It's from Chan Yu. She went abroad yesterday. I opened it and inside was a photo. Old Chan basking in the sun in the prison yard. Squinting, smiling peacefully. On the back were words. The boundary between light and darkness lies in the choice of the heart. Thank you for choosing light. Take care. As the plane took off, I watched the city shrink outside the window. It held my most beautiful memories and also my deepest betrayal. But all of it was over now, like scenery beneath the clouds, growing increasingly hazy. 5 years later, a small southern town. I opened a small bookstore by the sea. The second floor was my living space and my mother lived next door. Business was slow, but enough to get by. Every day I opened the shop, swept the floor, organized books and brewed tea on afternoons when the sun was bright. I pushed my mother to the beach for a walk. She had recovered well, able to walk a short distance on her own. Occasionally, when guests mentioned the police scandal 3 years ago, I just smile, offer them a cup of tea and change the subject. I thought life would continue peacefully like this until that afternoon. A woman came into the shop wearing sunglasses and a hat, but her figure seemed familiar. She lingered in front of the bookshelves for a long time and finally brought a copy of Introduction to Criminal Law to the checkout. When scanning the code, she took off her sunglasses. It was Lin Wei. She had lost a lot of weight, looked haggard with fine lines at the corners of her eyes. But those eyes, I still recognized them. Is one book enough? I asked calmly. Yifeng. Her voice was hoarse. 35 yuan cash or scan. She looked at me, her eyes slowly turning red. I got out early. 5 years. I scanned the code, printed the receipt. Need a bag. Yifeng. If not, this way. The next customer is waiting. I smiled a professional smile. She opened her mouth, but said nothing in the end. She picked up the book and turned to leave. At the door, she stopped, turned back. I'm sorry. Your book. I slipped the receipt into the book and handed it to her. She took it and pushed the door open. The wind chime tinkled and the sea breeze rushed in carrying a salty smell. I continued organizing the bookshelf. My hands steady, my heart calm. My mother came down from upstairs and handed me a cup of tea. That girl seemed familiar just now. Just a customer, I said. Mother didn't ask further and went to water the flowers on the windowsill. Sunlight filtered through the glass, casting patches of light on the wooden floor. I flipped open today's newspaper and on the society page there was a small news item. Our province continues to deepen the education and rectification of the political and legal team. Since last year, a total of XXX law enforcement officers have been dealt with for disciplinary violations and illegal activities. I eyed the paper and walked to the window. Lin Wei was still standing across the street holding that book, gazing this way. We locked eyes for a few seconds. Then she turned and merged into the crowd, disappearing. Maybe she'll start a new life. Maybe not. But that no longer concerns me. The wind chime rang again and new customers entered. About a dozen students chattering excitedly about which books to buy. I returned to the counter and smiled to welcome them. Boss, do you have any mystery novels? Third shelf on the left. Thanks. They rushed over full of youthful energy. Outside, the sun was setting and the sea surface was bathed in golden light. Mother was humming a tune off-key but happy. I brewed a pot of fresh tea, the aroma rising gently. The first cup is for Elder Chan, the second for Su Qing and Chan Yu, and the third for myself. To life, to rebirth, to everyone who even in darkness chooses to believe in the light after hearing the story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your views in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.